Hello, and thank you for watching Left Eye View. This is the video series where we will try to keep this new Boris Bully Boy Tory government to account. We'll expose what they do and generally make sure that the public, especially those who voted for them, are informed. Well, it's been a couple of months now since Boris got to form his new far-right government. About 6 weeks since they really got going at the beginning of the year. So it's about time for a little bit of a roundup. There used to be a Labour northern stronghold. Some bright spark in a newsroom somewhere came up with the idea of the Red Wall, and subsequent news reports spoke with great relish about its demise. Single-issue politicians like Farage could barely disguise their glee at the thought of Labour North's collapse. Many didn't so much line up as climb over each other in their desperation to endorse Boris's superficial mantra, "Get Brexit done." Well, the strategy worked, and the country elected the most undemocratic right-wing government we've seen since Cromwell dissolved Parliament for being too self-serving in the 17th century. Boris, Rees-Mogg, Cummings, and apparently even Miss Symonds have an overall majority and free rein to do what the hell they like. And that's exactly what's happening. Promises to look after poorer areas, predominantly to be found in the once thriving industrial North and Midlands, have been tossed aside. Promises to protect working people's rights have been watered down, and even the pledge to increase the minimum wage in 5 years' time has been changed to a wish that they don't think they'll manage to realise. Scrutiny's gone by the board. Boris plans to enact his own Enabling Act, which will prevent even the law from intervening in his dictatorial wishes, and the increase in funding he used to bribe desperate northern folk has now turned into a 77% funding cut. The government has lied about the NHS, claiming to be making the biggest and longest investment ever, when the truth is it's barely enough to keep the service at its current hard-pressed level. They've lied about nurse recruitment, and now the promise of extra doctors is becoming a sort of on-the-cheap upgrade, taken from the pool of nurses that Boris is already unable to maintain. They claim to support homeless veterans, and yet voted recently not to allocate the relatively paltry sum of money that would end homelessness across the board in this country, including homelessness of veterans. Tax cuts are only going to benefit the wealthy in any meaningful way, and even Brexit, according to Rees-Mogg, will take around 50 years before we can get our economy back to pre-2016 levels. I don't remember him saying anything like that before the election. Do you? But here in the North, life will go on. Our societies, fragmented by years of in or out conflict, will come together, because we'll have to if we're going to survive this Tory onslaught. Our people, temporarily swayed by clever marketing but far from stupid, will realise the con that got them to vote for yet another callous Tory government, and we'll bounce back stronger than ever. But in the meantime, I say to my fellow working class people in the North and the Midlands and across the rest of the country too, to those struggling to survive in a nation that's becoming crueler and crueler by the day, let's come together. Let's stop fighting about a done deal. We're leaving, at least for now, and there's nothing any of us can do about that. Brexit is no longer the most pressing issue we have to face. For the next 5 years, our task is to ensure that everyone survives, that nobody starves because of DWP sanctions, that people have enough money both for fuel and for food, and that homeless people have a fighting chance of getting out of the cold. We need to come together as one, and in 5 years' time we need to boot these bastards out.